Hey everybody, Keith Dotson here, and in this video, the first of a series, we will look at footage and photographs made over the course of 3 months in a local wetland here in the American South. I've gotten rather addicted to coming out to see what's going on and what's changed, and changes are frequent, sometimes big changes in just a day or two. We're starting in March, which even though there's a diverse coterie of critters living here, seem to be all about the Canada geese. They were in season and seemed to dominate the region with their loud calls and quarrels with each other. No matter what the other birds or animals were doing, the geese were ever present. Neither Tina or I are wildlife photographers, so we were just beginning to learn how to read the wetland environment, how to watch the wildlife, and how to understand the rhythms of life here. Coming back frequently, we observed a lot of behaviors above and below the water's surface. We had some big thunderstorms and a lot of rain in March, so the water was very murky. I hoped to catch some interesting life underwater, but mostly on these early outings, I just saw minnows. And always in the background, the trill of the red-winged blackbird. The wetland really came to life in April, with so many creatures growing and thriving in this confined area. This odd thing is a tadpole for a future bullfrog. They can be 4 to 6 inches long, and they're quite skittish. They dart away at incredible speeds. I read somewhere that bullfrogs can remain in this larval state anywhere from months to years, depending on the location. They really kick up the debris when they jet away. While we're underwater, let's look at a few crayfish or crawfish or crawdads, depending on where you grew up. They also dart away very quickly. As we'll see later in this video, these are the favorite meals of some of the bird life here, and despite the claws and their crustacean shells, they are not safe. This attentive mama goose is sitting on her eggs in a nest atop the beaver dam. These eggs were not so lucky. They've been abandoned on that tree stump. This random egg lying exposed in the mud was also abandoned. But these tiny goslings are already hatched, and they're so adorable, aren't they? But But as usual, the couple's having a spat. Seems to be about that other goose shaking its tail feathers over there in the distance. Canada geese mate for life, but they do seem to argue a lot. April is also frog month in the wetland. It seemed like all of a sudden green frogs were everywhere. You may be noticing they can change color somewhat to adapt to their environs. And we saw our first snakes emerging in April. We searched in vain for them in March, and then they were all around us in April. Snapping turtles remind me of dinosaurs. They're apex predators. They get really big and they can live to be anywhere from 40 to 70 years old. And as solitary creatures, they're pretty territorial, especially in spring, so you rarely see them with other snapping turtles unless there's a fight ensuing. This is just a baby, but you can already see its characteristically spiky skin and sawtooth shell. This big snapping turtle was snacking on the aquatic plants around it, but they're omnivores and they'll eat fish, frogs, crawfish, small mammals or birds, and even carrion. Needless to say, you want to avoid those jaws if you encounter one of these big turtles somewhere. They can inflict sharp and powerful bites. Yellow-crowned night herons are beautiful birds, but if you were a crawfish, they'd be your worst nightmare, a true monster lurking overhead. Somehow, even through the muck, they can spot a crawfish. But in this case, the heron missed and grabbed a weed instead. They can swallow a crawfish whole, shell and all. At dusk, the raccoon comes out to explore. Meanwhile, the muskrats stay very busy munching on the fresh spring plants and swimming around the wetlands. In May, things around the wetland started slowing down a bit. The Canada geese were less ever present. The yellow-crowned night herons were still eating well. This one deftly removed the claws of the crawfish before gulping it down. And just a little sip of water to help with swallowing it. Just a reminder that the animal kingdom is brutal, merciless. Almost every creature in this wetland is looking to eat another creature, or is itself trying to avoid getting eaten. The baby mallards were getting bigger every day, but Mama Duck still kept a close and watchful eye over them. But for me, the master of the wetland is the great blue heron. Big and graceful, very patient hunters. Sometimes they strike a pose and barely move for long periods of time. Well, I hope you enjoyed this first installment of 1 Year in a Wetland. I've already started working on the next installment, and there's some really dramatic footage coming. Thanks for watching. Be sure to visit my website at keithdotson.com.